Hey lovers, part 2 of the original 1989 era. Click my comment to watch part 1. So we are in the middle of our 1989 era right now, and Taylor is getting very empowered. You're seeing her take a stand on certain things. Apple Music said they were not going to pay their artists during the 3-month free trial. So she wrote an open letter to Apple, basically threatening to pull her catalog. CEO Tim Cook, the very next day, said that they would be paying their artists. So at this point in time, she's realizing, as are other artists and the rest of the world, that Taylor is getting more musical leverage. So while all this was happening, behind the scenes, there were some red flags with Big Machine Records, her record label. I've done several deep dives on Scooter Braun, Scott Borchetta, Big Machine Records. I can do another one if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments. But because I'm not going to go into it a lot here because I'm just doing the 1989 era and what we saw and what we went through. So those of you that don't remember it or weren't a fan then can kind of experience that. But she only had one more record obligation to fulfill with Big Machine at this point. We now know that was Reputation. But she was not re-signing with them, which was giving people in the industry and, people that followed it closely some red flags that there was like a rift going on there. Here is what Taylor said about the time. So convincing members of my team that the pop move was a good call. People seemed to love the album and were all high-fiving each other. But I remember all the sit-downs in the conference rooms where I would get kind of called in front of a group of people who have worked with me for years. They said, "Are you really sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to call the album 1989? We think it's a weird title. Are you sure you want to put an album cover out that has less than half your face on it? Are you positive that you want to take a genre that you cemented yourself in and switch to one that you are a newcomer to?" And answering all of those questions with "yes, I'm sure," really frustrated me at the time. Like, guys, don't you understand? This is what I'm dying to do. The biggest struggle turned into the biggest triumph when it worked. Okay, let's talk about Taylor's squad, because that was a huge part of the 1989 era. So Taylor's original squad, I came up with, so it was Selena Gomez, Karlie Kloss, Gigi Hadid, Martha Hunt, Lena Dunham, Abigail, Abby, her friend from high school, another friend from high school, Claire Winter Kisslinger, Haley Steinfeld, Emma Stone, the Haim sisters, Blake Lively, Cara Delevingne, I probably said that wrong, Lorde, Ellie Goulding, who actually introduced Taylor to Calvin Harris, who we are going to get to, Lily Aldridge, Camila Cabello, Ruby Rose, Jamie King, Diana Agron, Ashley Avignon, I don't know if I said that right, but she was just out with her eating dinner in New York City. I think I pretty much covered them all. If there's someone I'm missing, you can put it in the comments. But anyway, it was this group of high profile, most of them were celebrities, most of them were beautiful models. A lot of them were in the Bad Blood music video. And she began to get a lot of media scrutiny. So she talks about this in Miss Americana, the documentary. You can pause to read this, but this is just pulled from the Miss Americana documentary. And it talks about her struggling with her eating disorder. But Taylor was also not popular in high school, partly because of her career. And this is what she had to say about that. "Never being popular as a kid was always an insecurity for me, even as an adult. I still have recurring flashbacks sitting at lunch tables alone or hiding in a bathroom stall or trying to make a new friend and being laughed at. In my 20s, I found myself surrounded by girls who wanted to be my friends. So I shouted from the rooftops, posted pictures, and celebrated my newfound acceptance into a sisterhood without realizing that other people might still feel the way I did when I felt so alone. It's important to address our long-standing issues before we turn into the living embodiment of them." So for someone that was so in touch with her fans, a lot of her fans could not relate to this huge group of girlfriends that she had. It was 20 to 25 girls, she said they texted every day. And they're all beautiful, so we start getting media scrutiny about that. I would say it's probably about half and half on the ones that she's still friends with. But the squad was a big part of the original 1989 era. So Taylor was in her single and not ready to mingle phase, so it came as a surprise to everyone when she started dating Calvin Harris. This was an iconic, I guess is the best way to say it, photo. Taylor took a different route with this romance, and she was very public with it. They both were on their Instagram feeds. They were nicknamed Taven, and up until this point in her life, he ended up being her longest relationship up until, obviously, Joe Alwyn. So for starters, his real name is Adam Wiles, or Willis, however you pronounce it. Calvin Harris is a DJ. It began in February of 2015, so about 4 months after the release of 1989. Like I said before, they were introduced by Ellie Goulding. In March, they were seen holding hands at a Kenny Chesney concert in Nashville. April, they were at a Haim concert at the Troubadour in West Hollywood. And in May, they went public at a dinner in Venice, California. Also in May, they were very openly affectionate at the Billboard Music Awards in Vegas. In June, they post this iconic pic of them on the Swan. They went to London Tower Bridge with Karlie Kloss, and then at the time, Joe Jonas was dating Gigi Hadid. He was at her iconic 4th of July party that she used to hold every year at Holiday House. So now we're into March 2016, very much still in the 1989 era, and I'm going to talk about the 1989 World Tour too. She wins 3 Grammys for 1989, including Album of the Year. So it's just so ironic that the 1989 era started the day after the Grammys when she lost for Red, for her anyway, and that's in part 1. But what was also in March of 2016 was her and Harris's 1-year anniversary, which she posted this gold locket that he got her. It says 3/6/2015, which is when they started dating, to her Instagram. This just shocks me now because she's so private now that she was posting stuff like this. But it was part of the era. And her caption for this was 1 year down. All right, so this did not last much longer. The very next month, Calvin Harris releases This Is What You Came For, featuring Rihanna. Well, there's also another writer on the song called Nils Sjöberg, and it was Taylor under a pseudonym. The day after this song was released, Harris goes on Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest asked him if he and then girlfriend Taylor Swift would ever work together. He said that they would never work together. We haven't even spoken about it. I can't see it happening though. No, she's about to take a long break, This rubbed Taylor the wrong way. In June of 2016, US confirmed that Harris had ended his romance with Taylor after 15 months of dating, but a rep for Taylor 1 month later confirms that she is Nils Sjöberg. Harris lost it. All right, these are now deleted tweets from Calvin. This is what he says about our queen. I figure if you're happy in your new relationship, you should focus on that instead of trying to tear your ex-boyfriend down for something to do. At this point, she was with Tom Hiddleston. I know you're off tour and you need someone new to try and bury like Katy Perry, etc., but I'm not that guy. Sorry, I won't allow it. He added that Swift did contribute to the song, but he claimed he did most of the work. I wrote the music, produced the song, arranged it, and cut the vocals though, Harris wrote. And initially, she wanted it kept secret, hence the pseudonym. And she sings on a little bit of it too. Amazing lyric writer, and she smashed it as usual. Thanks, Calvin. Very famously, in the video for Look What You Made Me Do, Taylor is coming out of the grave of Nils Sjöberg. And that was off of Reputation. To make matters worse, he won an MTV award for the song and did not thank Taylor at all, which leads us to his little part in Coney Island, because that's about all of her exes. But when I walked up to the podium, I think I forgot to say your name. Lena Dunham was also asked who her least favorite ex of Taylor's was, and she said Calvin Harris. Part 3 coming up.